And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we went for a major run, and we almost killed ourselves. So now we're being bothered. We're being bothered by Misha and Shizune about what happened. And like I said in the last episode, I want to be honest, but there's sort of a little bit of assholeness to actually saying that. Though, just say I don't want to talk about it, okay, is just sort of like pushing them aside. So I think I'm gonna stick to my guns here, and I'm gonna say, you know, I had so much fun in the nurse's office. God damn it, she just doesn't know when to stop. Yeah, fine, whatever, I'll tell you. I was having a great time. I had a heart attack first thing in the morning and then hung out with the head nurse for a few hours for kicks. Best morning of my life, I gotta tell you. I'm trying to imitate her ridiculous litany speech. While, oh god. Oh man, yeah, no. Oh man, I regret that. I knew he was gonna snap at her. While keeping my voice so low that nobody else hears me. The words come spitting out of my mouth. He-chan, you had a what? Seriously? Just drop it, you heard me. But He-chan, this is important. No, really. Leave me alone. We're in the middle of class, too. But He-chan... Misha sounds concerned, or maybe panicky. I wonder if she realized herself that it wasn't the best of ideas to be so damn intrusive. I let her simmer in her own juices for a while before replying. It won't translate to Shizune. But I don't care. Piss off, Misha. And tell Shizune to do so too. Wow. Holy crap. Yeah, okay, thank God. As the words leave my mouth, I immediately regret saying them. But it's not like I can take them back anymore. Jesus. Holy crap. I'm gonna have a heart attack. Jesus. Dude, this is the thing about visual novels sometimes, is they don't give you enough, and this is the same thing that happens in games like Mass Effect and stuff, is you choose like an option that you think, oh yeah, I know, and then they go to like 800 degrees and just like melt. It's like think of the consequences or don't think of the consequences. And you think of the consequences and then you glass a planet. Right? Jesus. To my partial surprise, Misha actually shuts up, though I don't bother checking if she passes the message to Shizune. Doesn't matter either way. Muto ends his class in some generic talk about the festival 2 days from now. Misha, and by proxy Shizune, doesn't bother me for the entire morning. When the bell rings, I don't even look at the two of them as I walk out of the class. It's crowded in the hallway, as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Normally, I'd join the flow and grab a lunch myself, but today is different. Today, I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. Eventually, the torrent subsides and I step tentatively out into the hallway, only to be met by Emmy, who's come flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball. Hey, hiya, Sal. Great timing. I have super extra lunch today, as promised. Let's go upstairs. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! Hello. Oh, we know who that is. Yipes, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she? Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. This person? She probably doesn't even remember my name. The awkward silence lasts only a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, struggling the coincidence off. I invited Hasao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without lunch? Or without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. See, the thing is about Rin is she seems really interesting. And she's what do they call them? Like, kuderes? No. Am I thinking of the proper dere? Is she seems very aloof and, like, not very emotional. But I bet you she struggles with all types of things, so it's difficult to see where that story would go. I think I may have screwed up Shizune and Misha though. Holy crap. I'm still like shocked about how that turned out. They walk out to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few run-down benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence and take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at the passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, and the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depends on it, or gets their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only for one short year. See, okay. Why he just had a terrible morning, and he just like attacked his friends, like people that have been very, very nice to him, and he's not wallowing in it. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just sort of like, dude, you just shat on your other friends. And now you're like, oh, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about my life here. Even though you just had a death scare. I guess that optimism is good. But at the same time, you'd think he'd be a little less than this. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly, I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines with a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and 2 small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Isao. What are you waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take a little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all 3 of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go, lunch as promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks, I make 'em myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am right now. Will I ever get used to the sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to it getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? See, that would be the one that I'd take away, right? Is obviously you're going to feel foreign in this type of environment where, like, on the outside, he looks like a regular person. He doesn't have, missing legs or missing arms, right? So it's just sort of jarring because you don't have the same types of disabilities as obviously the two girls sitting next to you. So sort of like step back and look at it like that is getting used to it is a good thing because it puts your mind in perspective. Not in the same as like you're just like, oh, you get used to it because this is the life that you have to leave now. It's like, no, because you become more accepting of the troubles and the way that people cope and deal with situations that are outside of their control, right? So I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing to sort of take away from this, is the fact that we become more tolerable, and that should be, I guess, in a sense, what life is all about, is you begin to tolerate the things that you are given or the things that you're surrounded by. If you're not able to set aside hatred or set aside feelings of regret or abnormality, then you're just not going to push forward. You're just going to be disgruntled. You're just going to be mad at the world for it not conforming to who you are, right? Getting out of your bubble is probably the hardest thing, but at the same time, you have to be ready to accept other people's opinions and stuff to enter your bubble at some point, right? But we'll see. We'll see how the game treats this. I went on a little tangent there. Sorry about that. Hope you guys haven't fallen asleep or anything. Though if you use me to fall asleep, by all means. Story time is always good time. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the morning too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, let's rather think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How did you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought it would complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Oh, wow. I mean, yes and no. It's like, let's put the person that has no legs with the person that has legs but no arms, right? So they can always help one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together, and we've got all our limbs. Get it? Ah. So I started helping Ring get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Man, I like Rin. Rin seems really, really interesting. Kind of? This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just going to stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be in a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise.
Ah, that was good.
As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up.
I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that, sorry.
With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink-colored scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. Damn. That's like that mesmerizes me in a sense, is the fact that she's able to hold a juice box and stab it. I'm once again impressed on how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she is missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure.
So, Hisao, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice, actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve!
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone.
I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen, as Emmy pouts. Kidding, I was kidding. I love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay, too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy that I have accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin.
Oh wait, Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away.
Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. I guess those two, they're in the same grade as me, so they're probably in 3-1. Because Emmy is in 3-2. And obviously Misha and Shizune are in 3-3 with me. So I think we've met all the girls at this point. Fairly sure. The afternoon classes pass. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to turn a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot in the counter, a light pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry, Yuko. I didn't mean to startle you.
No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not too much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wonder, Jesus, when did he get all this time to read these books? I mean, it has been a couple of days and stuff like that, and we have been skipping in time, so he must end up reading during the downtimes and all that. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako has been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. No, she's there, though. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room and read the book I borrowed. There's been enough action and excitement for one day already. The first is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be, with the wacky characters and nonsense plots. I start thinking of myself as some kind of an Alice, too, haplessly tumbling down the rabbit hole into this cripple wonderland. Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overt way the school accommodates to absolutely everything is unsettling. It is like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts drifting further away from the book. It's quiet. I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason, it makes me feel really bad, like it has since the time in the forest with Iwanako. Like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stare at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fall asleep. Alrighty, so as much as I would love to continue this, I will see you guys tomorrow. So take care, stay frosty, and I hope the rest of the day is good to you.